He had always set rules, cold, polished rules wrapped in the same expensive silence he carried everywhere. No touching in public, Adrian would remind her with the calmness of a man discussing business contracts, not marriage. It keeps the press away. It keeps things clean. Clean. That was his favorite word. Elena used to nod, even smile, pretending it didn't sting. She had married a man who could buy cities, change laws with a quiet phone call, and freeze a room simply by walking into it. She knew who he was, Adrian Beaumont, the golden king of Beaumont Industries. But she hadn't understood what it meant to be his wife until the first gala, when she reached for his arm instinctively, like any new bride would, and he stepped away as though her touch burned. "Not here," he whispered, without even meeting her eyes. From that night onward, the rule became a wall between them, taller each year, thicker each fight, colder every time she forgot and tried to slip her hand into his in public. He loved her, she thought, at least he acted like he did behind closed doors. But outside, she was a shadow walking next to him. He kept affection hidden like a guilty secret. Eventually, she stopped reaching out. Eventually, she stopped hoping. And then, something in her broke that she didn't even realize had cracked. It started on one of those quiet afternoons when Adrian was out of the country, Zurich, Tokyo, Dubai, she didn't even keep track anymore. Elena was alone as always, having lunch at their usual bistro near the marina. The place had sunlight spilling through floor-to-ceiling windows and the soft, comforting smell of freshly baked bread. She went because it made her feel normal, something Adrian never understood. Halfway through her iced tea, she heard someone say her name, softly, cautiously. Elena. She turned and froze. Noah. He looked exactly as he had in college, warm eyes, unhurried smile, the kind of presence that made the world feel less sharp. He worked in environmental engineering now, he told her, visiting for a short project. He asked how she had been, and something in her chest tightened because she didn't know how to answer that question truthfully. Lonely, invisible, owned. No, she simply said, "I've been fine." But Noah wasn't the type to accept polite lies. "You don't look fine," he said quietly, and for some reason, that simple sentence nearly made her cry. They talked, just talked, for hours. About old professors, old dreams, old stupid memories. For the first time in years, she laughed without thinking first. He walked her home, not too close, not touching her, just present. And it felt like oxygen. The next day, Noah invited her to a community event by the marina, families, music, food stalls, children chasing bubbles. Nothing glamorous, nothing exclusive, nothing curated. Adrian would have hated it, Elena loved it. They walked side by side, talking like old friends. She didn't notice paparazzi, didn't notice anyone else at all. For once, she forgot the rules, the spotlight, the cold empty mansion waiting for her. She forgot everything except the feeling of being seen. And then Noah laughed, really laughed, when she tripped over her own sandal and almost fell. He reached out to steady her, just a hand on her arm, warm and harmless. She looked up at him, embarrassed, and he smiled in that effortlessly kind way he always had. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," she said, laughing. But the moment froze. The crowd went quiet. A shadow fell across them. She didn't have to turn to know who it was. She felt the shift in the air like a storm rolling in. Adrian. He stood there, impeccably dressed, jaw clenched so hard a vein pulsed in his temple. His eyes, God, she had never seen that look on him. It was pure, unfiltered fury mixed with something worse, fear. "Elena," he said, voice low and lethal in a way she'd only heard in boardrooms, never directed at her. "We're leaving." It wasn't a request. Noah stepped slightly in front of her, not aggressively, but protectively. "She's not doing anything wrong," Noah said calmly. Adrian's eyes snapped to him, dark and sharp as broken glass. "Who are you?" "A friend," Noah answered, steady. "Friend," Adrian repeated, as if dissecting the word. "Is that what we're calling this?" The crowd was whispering now, recording, watching, the exact spotlight Adrian spent years avoiding. Yet instead of pulling away like he always did, he stepped closer to Elena. Too close. His hand reached for her waist, publicly, deliberately. The same man who recoiled at her touch was now grabbing her like he had every right. "Come with me," he ordered, tightening his grip. She had never felt him shake before. He was actually shaking. "Adrian, stop," she whispered. "No," he growled. I will not lose you. Not to him, not to anyone. His voice cracked on the last word, so quietly she almost missed it. But she didn't move. He felt it. He froze. Elena, he said again, but this time her name sounded fragile, terrified. Noah stepped between them, not touching her, not touching Adrian, just standing like a quiet barrier. She's not a possession, he said softly. She can walk away if she wants to. The sentence cut through the air like a blade. Adrian's eyes widened, just a fraction. The crowd gasped. Elena's heartbeat roared in her ears. She felt every version of herself collapsing, the quiet wife, the obedient partner, the silent fixture at his side. All that remained was the truth. She was tired, so tired. Adrian, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. Why are you here? It was a simple question, but he flinched like she had slapped him. He swallowed hard. His grip loosened. His arrogance wavered. You weren't answering my calls, he said quietly. I got worried. She blinked, stunned. Adrian Beaumont, the man who claimed emotions were distractions, was admitting he followed her because he was worried. You never worry when you're gone, she whispered. I always worry, he snapped, the words spilling out too fast. I just never thought I'd have to show it. Noah stepped back slightly, not wanting to interfere now. Adrian took a shaky breath. I saw you with him, he said, his voice lowering. Laughing, smiling, letting him touch you, and something inside me. He stopped, jaw clenching. I lost control. That admission from him was more shocking than the scene itself. You said no touching in public, she reminded him. His expression broke, literally broke. That was a mistake, he said, the words cracking. I didn't want you to be hounded by gossip or cameras or rumors. I thought I was protecting you. Protecting us. I didn't realize I was pushing you away. The crowd was still filming, whispering, but Adrian didn't care. For the first time in their marriage, he didn't look at anyone but her. I can't lose you, Elena, he said. I can't. Her throat tightened. It was the closest he had ever come to saying I love you in public. Then why did you act like you didn't need me? She asked. He stepped closer, slowly this time, gently. Because needing someone terrifies me, he confessed. But losing you terrifies me more. The world seemed to quiet around them. Noah looked at Elena, offering her a soft, understanding nod, letting her choose. Elena, Adrian whispered, voice trembling, come home with me. Not as a rule, not as an obligation, as my wife, as the woman he stopped himself, chest rising sharply, the woman I can't breathe without. She had never seen him look so human, so undone, so painfully vulnerable. Her heart ached, not for Noah, not for the past, but for the man who was finally showing what he should have shown years ago. She exhaled slowly. Then she stepped toward Adrian. And for the first time in public. In front of cameras, strangers, rumors he had always feared. He reached for her hand. Not the controlled touch of a billionaire. But the desperate, trembling grip of a man terrified to lose the woman he loved. And this time, she didn't pull away.